Oh, let's see here. Howdy ho, guys and gals. Welcome to Sunday Night Tool Talk Live with me and the Cub.
Hello.
Mr. Griffin here. The missus is not feeling her best, so she has bowed out for the evening. Actually, to be honest, I told her she was not welcome because she was a little on the bitey side, as we like to say. And I apologize to everyone for us starting later than I had expected. We were at, where were we at today?
We were at the
Pennzoil
400 NASCAR race.
NASCAR Cup Series here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I want to thank them for the complimentary tickets. Actually, they didn't give us complimentary tickets. The ex-wife did. So, Amanda, thank you for that. It's nice when you get to that point in your life and you've finally gotten over each of your own stupidities and can come together as a family and enjoy stuff like this. So, anyway, I took Griffin, Duncan, and one of Duncan's friends, and oh my gosh, it was intense. It was intense. Let's see who is all here tonight. Frank Landgraf gets first to welcome the Tool fans to the chat tonight. Greg says hello from Omaha. Carmen says, sup, gentlemen. Rennick says hello. Scott says, had a great cashier at Harbor Freight. Gave me 30% off all my items under $20. Shh, don't spoil it for everyone. Anthony says, howdy. Neil F says, hey, Dan. Hey, Neil. How you doing? Carter says, what's up, Dan? Frank's like, plenty of left turns. There were several left turns, and I'll be honest. And Frank, I was like, for the longest time, I was like, NASCAR is stupid. It's just a bunch of left turns, yada, yada, yada. And I've been to IndyCar, and it's funny because I've been to the Indianapolis 500. That's the only IndyCar I've been to. And I was living in Indy at the time, and we were volunteering for a school fundraising thing, selling beer. That's school fundraising back in the day, right? So I was an adult selling beer, and it was for my brother-in-law's, Evan, if you've seen him on the channel. It's for his, they were doing some school trip thing. Anyway, sold through the beer. We sold through our beer before the race even started. And oh my gosh. Hold on, folks. I forgot all about this. Where is my phone? It's over there.
It's over there. All right.
Hold on. Wait. All right. Nope, not that one. There we go. We got to turn this off, otherwise I'm going to make y'all nauseous because we got to move the table and a bunch of stuff. Because I screwed up because I was in such a hurry and I did a bad thing. So hopefully we can recover this. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Get back in here. Oh my gosh, it's the Labrador dog.
I don't think he's
Hi.
talking about
I'm getting labra mugged.
Yeah. Oh.
Stop. Okay.
Hold on here.
So we're in the RV and we use Starlink. And for download, Starlink is fantastic. Most of the time. For upload, it's terrible. Here in Vegas. Back home in Montana, it's actually pretty good. So what I do is I turn on the hotspot on my iPhone. And we're going to try and switch the streams without losing the stream. So let's see if we can do this.
Right.
Let's see here. Cross your claws and wish upon a star. There we are. Okay. And we're going to try and do the transfer in 3, 2. Are we reconnected? Are you there?
Are you there?
It says we're reconnected.
All right.
Where's my Alt Tab button here? And it says I've got an excellent connection now. So methinks that worked. Look at that. Fixing it on the fly. Right. Neil says loud and clear. Oscar Gonzalez says, hey there. I can't talk. I'm stone cold deaf right now. It was so loud at the race today. The boys got earphones
I got
or
earplugs.
ear protection, and
I went.
in fact, they were on their own for most of the race because I had to go and talk to some people from NASCAR, and then I got mugged by a bunch of other people. It was and for the I ran into a handful of viewers there who stopped me and all said hi. I don't remember or could hear anybody's name, so my apologies. But for everyone I met at the race who called out and said that they liked the channel and stuff, thank you so much. It was so cool. I always enjoy meeting people. There was one person who I feel really badly about because I looked at him like he was a stalker, and it was not his fault. It was so I was supposed to be meeting somebody, and this guy I'm walking through, and I hear this voice shout out, "Jeff King," and anytime I run into a viewer, they always are like, "Hey, it's the Den of Tools," or "Hey, it's the Bear," or even Red. No one ever calls me by my actual name. So if I do hear my name, I never relate it to something having to do with YouTube. So I'm looking around for someone I know, or maybe the person I'm looking around who's supposed to be a woman, and I'm looking around going, I don't see anybody. The guy's standing there right in front of me. And then when he's like, "Oh yeah, you're with the Den of Tools, right?" And my brain was already in this other mindset of looking for someone I know, and so they had to switch back, and I just kind of gave this like stupid look, which probably came off as, everyone says my resting look is a grumpy bear look, so I apologize for looking like I was scowling at you. I just was confused, and it was loud. And then right after that, the Thunderbirds did a flyover.
It was terrifying.
They basically nuked the stadium. It was so loud. Everybody jumped out of their seats because they came out of nowhere. It wasn't like one of these long approaches. They're just all of a sudden, boom.
Like, they came from the back, and I didn't even hear them until they were over the stadium. And I'm like, where did you come from?
And it was so loud. So I thought my heart was going to vibrate out of my chest. It was insane. All right. Anyway, I'm getting behind on the comments, so let me jump into those real quick. You can get over your own stupidity. Maybe. Is Harbor Freight going downhill because they expanded so aggressively selling franchises? I'm not sure where you're getting your information, dude, because A, they're not franchises. Every single store is corporate owned, and Harbor Freight is a privately owned corporation. There's not like shareholders or anything, stuff like that. So I don't know what you mean. They probably, I mean, granted, I will give you this. Most things when I see companies expand like that, your usual thought is they've messed up. But they planned ahead of time, and they had all their distribution stuff in place, and they planned their growth pattern. That was aggressive, I'll give you that, but I'm not seeing them having any problem. They're killing it. They're making money hand over fist right now. Now with this, I see a downturn in the economy happening. Can they survive it? Who knows? I mean, well, only time will tell there. Ola Family Das goes, Landon, hey Landon, how you doing? John says, good evening from PA. Aaron says, howdy from Texas. Aaron, we got into a huge discussion. Everyone's telling me I need to move to Texas these days. It's now days stupid as all get out. Ashak says, howdy from the Bay Area, never this cold. I'm sure you're laughing at us. I lived in the Bay Area for 20 years, dude. I know Bay Area cold because it's that, especially when the fog rolls in, everything's misty and wet and cold. Phone has left the chat. Pupper love. Yeah, she's. Oh, are you okay? She's now curled up like a nugget under the desk, looking at me, giving me the side eye, like you told me to stop, and I was loving on you. It's not an official stream without the meth lab. No, it really isn't. No. Speaking of which, on the way out of the racetrack, they sent us, because we're the area we were parked in. We didn't get to go straight on the highway. They piped us right through East Vegas. Lovely area. We picked up a couple rocks. If anybody wants some, let me know. I'll send them to you. Kidding. But I mean, seriously, if you want some, I know where to get it. Fertile Craftsman says, evening bears, 77 degrees in Dallas Fort Worth. I'm already dreading the start of that horrible season called summer. I'm with you. You know, and that's I don't know about you, but for us here, basically spring is about 2 weeks long. So it'll be cold and windy, especially at night. It just drops down so cold you can't hang out outside. And then spring hits and it is glorious. And then for about an hour and a half it's like that, and then all of a sudden it's 100 degrees. And you're just sitting there like it's a sweat box. Oh, Dave the pious. That's cool. I like that. I noticed Tecton is on Home Depot's site. Thoughts on the Cobalt router table kit? Thanks. The Cobalt table kit router kit is not bad for DIY level stuff. The router is decent, still kind of DIY. If I was going to choose like a combo kit, I would either choose the Skill. You got to look at the Skill. The Skill's got a nice table for that little compact table thing, add-on kind of thing. And the routers are really, people are taking notice of the routers now that Porter Cable's gone. They've kind of stepped in. I'm not ready to say that they're as good as the old Porter Cables were, but to be fair, Porter Cable had kind of gone downhill, and so maybe they are. But the go-to always is Bosch, and if you can find the Bosch kit with the Bosch table, it's you're never going to be upset that you made that purchase. All right, the Cobalt one, it's good for DIY weekend warrior. If you're looking for a step up, you're going to have to get the Skill or the Bosch. Hope that answers your question. Let's see here. Where was I? Mike says, howdy y'all. Nothing like taking the youngins to the race. Took my niece to a monster truck race when she was 9. She was wide-eyed and grinning like a mule, chewing on some briars. Oh my gosh. They had a blast. They went all over. They got some merch. What did you have to eat?
I had a pulled pork sandwich.
Oh, they were raving about the pulled pork sandwiches.
Like, it was the best I've ever had.
Yeah, and what I was saying before, and I got away from it, is I never really cared for the Indy race stuff, and I've always liked like off-road and what's the other one where they're doing like street racing, kind of like Monaco, kind of like the Monaco GP, that kind of stuff, where it's road courses and some of the other stuff with it's not like just not circle track. Now I don't mind a good dirt circle track because that's mayhem waiting to happen. And I'll be honest. So last year we saw the Xfinity series, and I found that enjoyable. Other than the fact they had to stop every 4 or 5 laps because there'd be a wreck. And this one they did 280 some laps with one wreck, and the guy just basically put himself into the wall. And he drove off the course under his own power. They were under yellow for a couple laps, and they were back. It was almost boring to watch, and I hate to say that. And I know the NASCAR people are going to be pissed at me for saying it. And I'm talking about NASCAR themselves, not and maybe the viewers will be. I don't know, but the fact is, it was like the difference between watching pro football and 2A college ball. 2A college ball is scrappy. All right, they're not as finesse. They don't have everything perfected. This one was so perfect you had to look for the nuance. Whereas watching the Xfinity series, it was all rough and tumble and stuff. Anyway, so it was. I said to the kids, it's the difference between watching like a UFC fight, a UFC championship fight versus a street fight. And in some ways, the street fight's more interesting. In fact, but if you saw the UFC, who saw the UFC this weekend? Who called John Jones in 90 seconds? Oh my God! I got schooled. I was mocking him, and I was making dad bod jokes. I was teasing the kids and stuff. And it's but man, 90 seconds. That was. I'm sorry if I ruined that for anybody who taped it or something was going to watch it. All right. Anyway, don't cross the streams. Scott says, bought my first welder this week. Went with the 135 Flux arc welder. Went back and forth versus titanium. Yes, was 140 and did arc welding. It seemed like the better machine. Did I make the right call? I won't say you made the right call, but I will say you didn't make the wrong call because they're both good. They really are. And I've got I've got Yes Welder. Yes Welder sent me stuff. Harbor Freight sent me stuff. They both have. Yes Welder, you usually get more bang for the buck. That's what I'll say about Yes Welder. You get more bang for the buck. The Harbor Freight stuff, the titanium and what's the orange one? I can't remember the name. Anyway, they're flawless at this point. They just do exactly what they're supposed to do. Let's see here. All right. Oscar says hi there. And John says, we're here. And Landon lets me know it was seamless. That's cool. Justin's Garage is in the house. How's it going? Says good
Hello?
evening. Battle Chemist jumped. Well, hopefully it's actually better now. We're looking 5x5. Me agrees. There we go. Well, that transfer went well. See, Adams, that went exceedingly well. I'm worried about what's going to go wrong now.
It's not official until Jesus is here.
Jess.
Oh, Jess.
Your mom.
I don't know. I even with my glasses. Oh my gosh.
Anyway. Landon says performance-based, number of people in the area, not even the stutter, bro. By the way, those races are loud but awesome. They were, and honestly, I felt like it was louder than the Xfinity stuff, and it probably was. I will say this, it was so cold. Everyone was bundled up. I saw tons of women in like I saw one woman wrapped up in a full-on blanket, like a comforter, like a down comforter, and I don't blame her one bit. It was chilly. And last year Duncan and I went, and I think I wore a short sleeve shirt, and I wore like very thin cotton slacks, and I was cold. It was every time the sun would go behind a cloud, the temperature would drop, and then it snowed, and then it rained, and then it snowed, but then the sun would come out, and as long as the wind stopped and the sun was out, it was actually quite nice. And we got through it. This was just cold on cold on cold. So anyway, Ashok says, howdy from the Bay Area. Never been. Oh, okay. I already read that one. Cool SK hat though. Thank you. You know what? I'm an SK fanboy from way back when. Not too pleased with what's going on with the company right now. I wish I could recommend them currently, but I'm holding back. I'm waiting for them to prove themselves now that the whole purchase transfer thing happened. Michael says, what's your thoughts on Eastwood MIG welders? I'm looking for an inexpensive starter box to dip my toe in. I've not used Eastwood, but I know a lot of people have. A lot of viewers on the channel have told me that they've used the Eastwood. They've never had a problem with it. I'm pretty sure that's what the auto shop teacher at my son's school, I'm pretty sure he uses Eastwood. I know a lot of people use Eastwood, and they're just fine. The only thing I've seen with Eastwood is that it's not as inexpensive as Yes Welder or Harbor Freight when they go on sale. I'm not saying it's worse or better, just less expensive. Or the other ones are less expensive than Eastwood, and I don't know. I put it in that same kind of category. Do I think it's a top end? Well, they do have some higher end stuff. They do. So it kind of goes from that prosumer up to that budget pro kind of level. Let's see here. I was going to say, does Harbor Freight have stock? But you said they're private. Nope, there's no stock for Harbor Freight. If there was, I would have bought it. I kid you not. I saw this because when I started the channel, my premise for starting the channel wasn't to focus on Harbor Freight. It was just find people good quality tools that offer a more bang for the buck. Basically, that was kind of diamond in the rough kind of stuff that people look over, that you could get a professional-esque kind of feel for it. Anyway, and then I started incorporating a bunch of Harbor Freight stuff and trying to find the stuff at Harbor Freight that was better than the disposable stuff. And then right after we started talking about Harbor Freight is when they started making that change. And I think the first thing they brought out was the Bauer planer. And I remember cracking jokes about it because, Bauer planers have blades, right? Planers have blades. And, growing up playing hockey since I was 7, Bauer's to me is skates. I'm like, are they trying to make a play on skate blades versus planer blades? It's kind of silly. They hadn't announced that this was going to be a whole new thing. And then you start seeing stuff trickle in, and I'm like, okay, there's something big changing here. And after about 2 years of that, I could see what was going on. I think it was 3 years when Harbor Freight actually contacted me, and I got to hear see some of the behind the scenes about what their plan was. And at that point, I'm like, Yeah, I actually looked at that point. I'm like, can I buy stock? And they're like, we don't sell stock. Dang. You want to read some?
Yeah, sure. That would be good stock to invest in. Not gonna lie. Glad to see you feeling better. God bless.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I'm
Yeah,
glad to be
thanks.
feeling better.
I'm liking having new Harbor Freight stories. I can't read the last one.
He's saying stores probably in my area.
In my
And
area.
then on after that it says, it's Landon. It says in my area, 3 new ones in the last year. Wow, 3 new ones.
There's other states besides Texas. Do you know VCD construction? Just curious, since both
Tool
two
channels.
Yeah.
I don't know them personally. We've interacted in chats and stuff, and they know me and I know of them. That's about the extent of it. I've not met many of the other tool channels in person. A lot of the channels are over, especially tool channels seem to be East Coast, BCG in particular, and I think I'm one of the few that are West Coast. And not even West Coast, we're mountain. So but I met, I met what's his name, but they went Client Graphics, but he's stopped posting. Haven't heard from him. And then I met Audubon Dan, but now he's, I think, ABD. He's only doing Instagram and he's selling tools. And he's doing a great job. And if you want to get some really cool tools like you usually only get in Europe, hit him up over on Instagram. He's a great guy, by the way. But I think that's the only one. Oh, and recently we got to meet at it wasn't SEMA, it was National Hardware Show. We ran into Kuhn Trucking. Nice guys, just great people to sit there and talk to. It was a lot of fun. We didn't get to spend a ton of time, but I mean, probably like half an hour or so just jawing, and just nice guys to talk to. And Bader says there's other states in Texas. Yes, Montana, aka the Texas of the North, where we have real mountains and real cattle.
Visiting in from W.WA, I think.
West Washington?
Yeah.
Looking to move somewhere like Montana, Idaho, or Wyoming. Honestly, I love Montana. Absolutely in love with Montana. But the prices are going through the roof because all of California is moving there. If I were to have to move someplace right now, my 3 options, I would consider Texas. I would look at Arkansas because there's some beautiful areas of Arkansas and the land is so cheap compared to most other parts of the U.S. The other place I would look at would be southeast Idaho. I don't think it's completely discovered. There's a lot of thermal stuff around there. Lava hot springs are just east in the hills from there, between Lava Hot Springs and Soda Springs and that kind of area. There's some beautiful areas, and it's not terribly expensive yet. And I think it's gonna be in the next 10 years.
Evening all.
Matthew Ryan, how you doing, man? We read that one. Linda Skidmore says, tell your Harbor Freight Insider Bauer needs a 6 amp hour battery and Atlas needs a 36 riding mower. Hell, it could even be lead acid. I mentioned the riding mower to them because after Hart came, Ryobi and Hart have one. And they said, well, I don't expect that anytime soon. Can I help you?
What?
Oh, you're scratching back
Yeah.
there. Fleas?
Huh? No. Not the dog.
My princess does not have fleas. Where are you, princess? Oh, she's curled up next to me. Come here. Come. You can sleep on the bed. Come on, or the couch or whatever. Hi. Yeah.
Say hi to the live stream.
Yeah. Say hi. Oh, yep. In the face. Yep. So,
hi.
what was the other one? The 6 amp. They have planned. There's a 4 amp. I think it's going to be an 8 amp. I don't know if there's going to be one in between. So there's that. They announced that a year and a half ago. They did come out with a 4 amp, which was a step up. And so we're waiting for the 8 amp. I asked them about that. And what I think I heard was late spring, summer on it. I trying to remember if I know but they did this year. It's going to be this year.
Totally.
And let's see here. Carter says, Dave the Pious, I use all Tecton tools as an auto tech. I like them for their price, and I found out they're on Depot a month or so ago, which is great. I just wish they were in more stores, because if people could actually get them in their hands and see the kind of quality that they have, they would be doing better. And one of the things that some people don't know about still is they're the ones who came up with this concept of, for warranty, of, do you mind?
I'm gonna be right back.
Do you mind? Where are you going? Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna turn the camera off. Wait, that's not the camera. Turn the camera. Okay. I just have to turn the camera off. Go on.
Oh yeah.
Because he has to move the whole table to get by it, and it shakes everything, and some people, it gets them a little nauseous. Has she had dinner?
Okay.
No, we're out.
Oh, we got to go to the store? Okay, we'll do that after the... Someone's hungry. All right, where are we? There. Come on. Where'd it go? There we are. See, I'm back. So we're talking about the batteries. We're talking about Tecton. They did the thing where if you have to warranty something, you just snap a picture of it and you upload it to the website. In a couple days, you get a replacement. Usually speaking, it depends on stock and shipping. Sorry, I forget my microphone's there, and I'm hitting my microphone. It's probably super loud in your ear. The Mater says, I'll take Texas oven summer over Oklahoma winter. Boy, if you think Oklahoma winters are bad, do not come to Montana. 14-inch bandsaw thoughts. Looking at a Jet. Jet is overpriced. All right. And hold on. He's coming back in. Just a second. Da-da-da. Okay, come on. Be quick about it.
I'm trying. All
right. He's back. Stop hitting the table. All right. We're back. Sorry about that. So, I love Jet. And if you look back at my table saws, I did a full restoration on a Jet table saw. I'm a Jet fanboy. I love the stuff that they've made for years. In the last 10 years or so, I've seen the quality kind of go, not off the cliff, not terrible, but not quite the same standards you would expect from Jet. On top of that, the prices have remained Jet level prices. The best 14-inch table saw bandsaw for the money, without a doubt, is the Grizzly. The Grizzly makes a fabulous 14-inch bandsaw. I had one. I sold it when we moved out of California, just because we didn't have room for all my big shop tools. I sold that, my Delta table saw, and a bunch of other the bigger tools, and I regret all of those because I love those tools. And yeah, if I had to buy another 14-inch, somebody's like, you need one for this project tomorrow, I would be on the phone calling Grizzly today. And I'm not sponsored by Grizzly. I don't make commission off of Grizzly. But comes to bandsaws, Grizzly. And to be honest, the Grizzly is not just as good, it's way better than the Jet. Like, way better. Ashok says, for a home game DIY guy already in Ryobi battery system, Ryobi brushed half-inch impact wrench versus Ridgid brushless half-inch. Which one will you say? Ryobi is... The Ridgid's going to crush the Ryobi. I mean, the Ridgid brushless versus the Ryobi brush, it's not a fair fight. That's like saying, which is a better truck? Which truck's going to tow more? Your Ram 3500 with the Cummins or my Isuzu Pup? It's not, they're not the same class category, weight category. They're just not. Ryobi, now the Ryobi brushed or brushless will go toe to toe with the Ridgid, but it's also more expensive. BD Slim says, love watching your channel and seeing all the deals that you find. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you. I appreciate someone appreciating me. I feel appreciated.
Thank you.
I don't know what the rest of your excuses are.
Landon Ashby says Ryobi HP high torque has more Ugadugas and is on par with the Ridgid.
Hey, what I just said. And Neil says, I wouldn't switch platforms over there. I would not switch. Nope, not a chance. I know guys who build custom cars for SEMA who use Ryobi. All right, Ryobi can get the job done. And their high torque is fine. It does everything, unless you've got some weird kind of situation where you need like the ultra high torque or like the super high. Maybe you're doing high end major diesel kind of stuff or working on, D9 Caterpillars. Maybe you need something. In that case, you're probably going to go up to a 1-inch. Anyway, does Home Depot have power tool activation upon purchase at checkout? Oscar asked. I don't know if they implemented it. They did talk about the fact that they were working on it. I don't know if it actually got implemented. And other stores have said they're going to do it too. I hate it with a passion. But that said, so a lot of people, let me back up. A lot of people get upset with the stores because they don't do anything to stop theft at the store. It's not really the store's call. Their insurance tells them, you can't interfere. Just eat the loss. Now maybe switch insurance providers or something. I don't know. I'm not in their books. I can't see exactly whether that makes sense or not. But I do know the rationale behind it is not coming from corporate. It's coming from their law team and from their insurance providers. So that's why they don't stop people. Which then leads to all this theft issues that we see. We see stuff being locked up and everything else. And I hate the idea of it. I mean, who here has seen the videos going around about Ford patenting a system to auto, take your car back? That's insane. Like, can you imagine having a self-driving car that like you don't make a payment and it drives itself back to the lot?
Oh, that would be...
I'm like, I'm sorry, my processor didn't. The process doesn't mean you get to take my car. Anyway, that said, I'm all about not having car payments. So, anyway, Zap says, I feel sorry for the bars who had to pay for the PPV.
Huh?
Why? I feel like I should know what you're saying. PPV.
I feel like that's a car.
No, for the bars who had to pay for that PPV. Why am I brain dead? I don't know. I was probably just talking about it. Now I can't remember it. Oh, the ADHD is strong. Landon says, I agree with Neil. I got the Ryobi because it was already in the platform. Way impressed with the HP in the process, and in the process swapping over to the HP. The HP from Ryobi is I rank tools based on 5 tiers. And I'm wondering, so currently when I look at stuff is like professional grade's a tier 5. The Value Pro is 4. Prosumer is 3. DIY is 2. And junk entry level stuff is 1. I would rate the HP stuff from Ryobi as a level 4. That's on par with Metabo HPT, the Cobalt, the high-end Cobalt stuff, the Harbor Freight, the new Hercules brushless stuff. There's a few other players at that level. It's a weird level to be in, where it's like you're better than prosumer, but you're not quite a high tier pro. So and many of those I would only rate them that because there just isn't a big enough line of tools. Like Metabo HPT and the Hercules tools, they're fantastic. They definitely can compete at that higher level. They just don't have 64 different tools in that platform, or 127 like Milwaukee and DeWalt and Bosch and Hilti and who else am I thinking of? There's another one in there. Oh, Metabo themselves, top tier Metabo. Anyway, looks like Little Bear is about to doze off. You do look a little tired. Are you tuckered out?
No.
Oh,
Not yet. Not about
not
yet.
yet. I think he's still in shock from the race.
Yeah, I'm a little... I might be a little deaf too.
Yeah. Tank says, Harbor Freight employee here, just got the Hercules Impact Driver Kit, Impact Charger, 2-amp battery, $97.99 before discount, $70 after coupon, and employee discount. I'm telling you, a lot of people were like, I wish they would come out with this in kit forms. Well, there's kit forms out now. So that's going to be a thing.
Well, Hawk says, I think the orange...
Vulcan, highly logical.
Highly logical.
That decision is logical.
Frank says, hello.
BD Slim, my family and I went to a figure 8 track a couple years ago in Ohio, and it was a fun experience. Plenty of wrecks. Those are fun. Do you remember me taking you to the demolition derby in Montana?
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
That was a number of years ago. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Patrice has just bought my very first cordless DeWalt FlexVolt Advantage angle grinder for $163 at Home Depot. Saved $60. That a lot of people, I'll say that DeWalt makes some of the best grinders out there, and people look at me like, oh no, they don't. They do. They secretly just slipped into this grinder tech, because I talked to a lot of the engineers who design these tools for other companies, and I can tell you that they're not looking at Milwaukee. All right, they're not looking at Bosch as who the high watermark is. They're looking at Makita and they're looking at DeWalt. Those are for grinders. That's the high watermarks. You don't believe me? Look at a welder's cart, and you're going to see those two. And actually, if you look at a lot of welders' carts, then you'll also see some of the cheaper Harbor Freight stuff. But that's just because they don't like to change. We're like, hey, I'm gonna put a flap disc on it, so they'll keep some of the cheap ones with those discs permanently on them. That said, the new Harbor Freight stuff is pretty good, but I haven't seen any long-term use on it. I am waiting to see that, but they've got some beefy grinders these days. Frank says it would be cool to have Jesus on the show.
Okay, that was a long time ago.
That would be funny. I would absolutely have. And let's be honest, Jesus
amazing.
is always on the show. He's always here right next to us. So in our hearts, he's always on the show. But that would be cool. That would be... I would learn. He was a carpenter. Jesus, if you'd like to tell us what your favorite hammer is, I'm pretty sure it's an Estwing, as we all know.
We can move on
What?
now.
Oh, I think you said it's a Martinez. Anyway, I don't know. I'm an Estwing guy, but I don't want to put any biases out there against the Son of God about what he would choose.
Justin says, "Gotta get the kids to bed. I'll catch up in a little while. See ya."
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Neon green has
Sweet,
catching your eyes when it's growing legs. Just saying. Well, that's the thing. So Duncan has got his hands on one of those Milwaukee beanies in the safety green color.
He's a gumdrop.
He looks like a gumdrop walking around, and he's so tall in a crowd. That was great today because I could pick him out. He's like, oh, there he is. He's moving that way. You can see him from 30, 40 miles away.
I mean, I couldn't lose him.
Yeah. Just look for the beacon. Are you going to pick up the Bauer High Torque for a video? I would like to. The only problem is we're down here in Vegas until the end of April. And I can do a lot of tool testing, but I don't have anything to really test something like that on. It's a great system too. I really like it. I will, what I will do is I will pick it up for at home. So the way we've diversified here, and it's kind of funny. So at home, in Montana at the house, we use Bauer cordless for the tools, and we use Hart 40 volt for the outside power, outdoor power tools. And then at the shop, I mostly use Hercules, but I also have Flex, and then I got all the other stuff there to mix in to test it on. Everything to test it on. I've got Ridgid and Milwaukee and DeWalt and Makita and a bunch of other stuff. And then in the RV, we have Hart. And the idea behind that concept is I was looking for what would be the perfect power tool to go with if you're always moving. You never know what tool, what hardware store is going to be nearby. Well, in your RV, there's almost always a Walmart nearby, and a lot of them are open 24/7. Not as many as used to be, but a lot of them are. So, that's why we went with that. But I will probably pick up the High Torque to keep at home with the other Bauer stuff we have, just for miscellaneous stuff. Honestly, it's going to probably be overkill for what we use it for, because it'll probably be mostly like tire changes and stuff like that, but maybe some other stuff around the house. And then I'll also be able to compare it directly to the other High Torques that I have. Wait, I got to scroll down here so I can see it. I used to love SK, but now Yeah, Neil. It is like that, isn't it? It's but now. Matthew Ryan says, now I want more situations where I can use it's not official until Jesus is here. We need to come out with a shirt.
No, stop.
Yeah.
It's over. Okay.
Yeah. I will say this. So I've been looking to come out with more shirt designs and stuff like that. Stuff we need to come out with more stuff. People are always asking me for different kinds of merch and stuff like that. So if you have any t-shirt ideas for cool designs or sayings or slogans or stuff like that, I don't know if I'm going to say it's not official till Jesus is here. Although that would kind of make a good shirt, second coming and all that. But Duncan out of the blue says, you know what? I want to start a hat company. And I'm like, okay, well, let me know some of your designs. He came back with some designs, and dude, they are smoking. They're like old school Western wear. He wants to call it Beartooth Mountain Hat Company. And I don't know, I'll have to check, make sure there's not one already. But I was, and I know I'm a Papa Bear being like, no, when you see these, you're going to be like, dang, that is like, it's like classic old school Western kind of stuff. Anyway, Jesus was a carpenter. Yes, he was. Let's see here. Jim says, after listening to Jory and his dad at H.J. Epstein's video Friday, I have less hope for SK than I did before they got sold again, as the last 5 or 6 have been tough. Yeah. I didn't see that, but I don't doubt it.
Jim Haynes says, after listening to...
I just read that.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
I'm not keeping up at this point.
It might be time for bed, huh? Come here.
Not yet.
I know it's hard to admit you're tired. Animator says, can you use a second winch cable, normally sold as a replacement, as an extension cable? That is a question for Matt's Off-Road Recovery. I think it sounds sketch. It would have to depend on the weight, on the capacity. There's got to be some sort of physics issue involved when you're attaching 2 cables. I think it'd probably be better to go from a cable to a tow strap. And always be careful. There was somebody apparently who was recently killed in a winching recovery incident. Carter says, we had a Lincoln Welder meltdown internally, and our plasma cutter is down because a dumb student decided to let their cut fall off the cord and ruin the cut. $1,500 cable. Oh my gosh.
I hope he's paying for it. Or they.
That's insane. Oh, jeez. Mater says the only stock Harbor Freight sells is what's in the back of the store. Ba-dum-bum. And the
Link says, I just got the extended 3/8 ratchet. I love it.
Yeah, I like the extending ratchet. I do. Now I use it for like bike stuff, working on e-bikes and stuff like that. But you know what? It's probably not bad to keep in your car as a catch-all kind of thing. Mike says, you've been announcing more sales at Harbor Freight, but here's my luck. When there's a good buy on anything, I'm broke or money is prioritized somewhere else. When I have the money or no sales. Brother, I get you. In fact, like it's like for us every year, my birthday, we're broke. Now, granted, my birthday is like exactly 1 month or almost a little bit more than 1 month after Christmas. So, you know, and it's also right after we transitioned from Montana down here. So we spent money on the move and on hotels and everything else and on Christmas gifts. And we're always broke. And it is so much like that. Although I have lucked out in some of the other stuff that I've picked up. Was the Marlin 44 I picked up, that CZ shotgun that Duncan stole from me. He's getting to be a crack shot at trap, man. He's going to be good at it. Matthew says, I had to wonder what Harbor Freight security cameras thought of me today, testing if one of their display circ saws would fit into a Herc 16-inch tool bag to see if it would likely fit my own saw. That is fair testing, man. As long as you don't walk out the front door with it, I think it's all fair, man. But yeah, you can see somebody sitting there watching it going, come on, do it. Here's the question. Did it fit? What'd you think? Let me know. Carter Barn Hypertherm is great to deal with for parts. I have a Power Max 65. It's a dream come true. Might consider leather cord wrap in your application. That's not a bad idea. Zap says, I gave up on VCG. Seems to be full of himself and or serious, especially on Home Depot walkthroughs. I have not watched VCG in years. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of the bigger tool channels that I stopped watching. My two issues with VCG, and I think honestly, I think Vince is a great guy. I don't know him personally. I've not talked to him intimately about this, but he just comes across as like a good family man. He's good to his mom. He doesn't kick puppies, kind of thing. I think he's probably a good guy. There was a guy that they had on the show that was a younger dude who epitomizes the tool bro. I've been doing this for 2 years. I'm a pro. I know everything. And anybody who doesn't use Milwaukee is an amateur noob. And I'm like, that dude needs to get muzzled because he's an idiot.
I totally thought you just...
And the thing is, I can always tell the guys who have been doing it 2 to 5 years and think they're now the you know what. And they're going to tell, well, and that's always one like, if you use Harbor Freight, then you're not a pro. If you use Raby, you're not a pro. If you use anything other than brand X that I'm a fanboy of, you're not a pro. Here's the deal. Pros don't say that. Like the guys who've been in the game 20, 30 years, they generally don't say that kind of stuff. There are a few who just never really put the thought process into actually analyzing tools and they just did the work. Because here's the other thing. Just because you know how to do a job doesn't mean you know the best tool for that job. There's, I know lots of guys who've, in not just the trades, but in tons of different professions, they're excellent at what they do. But it never occurred to them to analyze the tools that they use and do truly, competitive evaluations of them. They're like, I tried it and it worked for me and it's awesome. Or I tried it, that one thing didn't work. I get a lot of the guys who are like, I decided to give Harbor Freight a try, so I bought the cheapest grinder they sell, and I ran it on stainless steel for an hour straight, and it died. And now I'm never going to buy anything from Harbor Freight again. Morons. But and I'm not saying that's VCG, but the one guy, and the guy's not on there anymore, and so I'm glad that he got away from that. Anyway, but I don't watch them a lot. And I'm trying to think who I do watch these days. Probably watch way too much political stuff and too much gun stuff. I watch a lot of gun stuff on YouTube. Torque Test. The boys at Torque Test channel, they're awesome. Toolhead. I watch Toolhead. There's somebody else that I watch. And I'm brain dead from today, so I'm missing on them. Anyway, Neil says, oh, we already read that. Dude, Neil, that XMT is pretty sick. Got the Dynasty. Agree with the leather. Right. Okay. Wohawk says, outside of Texas, where deer grow bigger than our dogs and don't taste like sagebrush. My deer taste like nothing but sage. They look like sagebrush. I would say Texas probably has some of the biggest deer. They're on private 10-foot fenced, parks. The private hunting thing, man, that I want to be cool against. I don't want to say negative things against, my brother hunters and, they're out there, but it just ain't hunting. Ferno Craftsman says, give me a list of tools you want me to pick up while I'm in Greece in May. Take your mom this time and wouldn't sell. Oh my gosh. Screw taking tools. Take me. I want to go to Greece so bad. But yeah, I will get you a list. Zaf, don't blame me. We should get back to XTR. That's it. Or TTR. He'd go back to TTR, but XTR is what I was thinking about with Cobalt. I could, as I said, man, I was telling the wife, I might be at a point where I need to start taking some of those brain supplements you see advertised on YouTube to help sharpen the brain for us elderly folk. I'll say I had enough stories. Let's read through some of these. Looking for a cheap pliers combo set that I can keep in the house instead of constant garage runs. any recommendation, ever try Work Pro. I've tried Work Pro. They are inexpensive. I'm not. They'll do the job. All right. And I like a lot of stuff Work Pro has, but some of the stuff Work Pro has is, and I'm at the time in my life where I can be kind of a tool snob. I'm not like a serious tool snob, but I don't want just the basic stuff. I want stuff that feels a little bit better. And especially, with Black Friday and Christmas, there were some great deals on like Cobalt pliers. Tecton makes great. Honestly, I think some of the best deals is like what we just had. Well, you could maybe make it to Harbor Freight tonight, but Harbor Freight's doing that. Anything, if you're inside track, anything under $30, 30% off. Can you say Doyle at 30% off? That's most of the Doyle line of pliers. And the Doyle line is fabulous. It's as good as the Tecton. It's as good as the Gear Wrench. It's as good as the higher end Cobalt stuff. It's a solid set of pliers. I really like it. That's what I do, honestly. I would say most of my plier sets are, other than stuff like, I like Kniepex and, I like Gear Wrench. I have the Gear Wrench stuff. Actually, I gave that to Duncan. It was a nice complete set that way. I know he had everything. But most of my personal choice is either Tecton or Doyle. Wings of Pizza says, lost my pup this past week. Oh, I'm sorry. 15 years old. She used to always be by my side when I was tinkering around the house. Rest easy, Dora. Well, Dora clearly had a good long life.
Yeah.
But that is... I can't even think about not having Bella around. Can't think about it. I'm not going to cry on my live stream. I'm sorry, sir. That is... Anyway, Infernal Craftsman says, here in Texas, house prices have tripled in price in the last 10 years. Cost of living is also high, higher than many realize. Lots of fees and taxes not talked about in the media. Yeah. Maybe I'll stay in Montana. BD Slim says, please read my last... I just did. You don't... Oh, because you didn't put at the end of tools. I see what you're saying. Okay. Groundhog says, return them because the fit and finish was subpar. I gave a set to my mother-in-law when she got her new apartment because she's blind, but she's a ninja and she likes to be independent and do some of the stuff herself. Also, if I'm over there, there's tools I can fix stuff. Anyway, and I got the Work Pro set, and for that level, perfectly fine. Not what I would use at my house. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm a bit late. We were a bit late, so you probably got the memo. It's totally fine. Just slide in the back there. No one will notice. Michael says, hey, Bear, I'm looking to get into getting a cordless framing nailer. Which one would you recommend? I'm in the Ryobi line, and I know they have an HP one. That's a slam dunk. Get the HP. Are they the best? No. Are they more than good enough? Oh yeah, they're Ryobi basically set the standard for cordless nailers. Everyone else was trying to catch up. Now some people have, and I will say this: Milwaukee, I think, probably makes the best cordless nailer out there, or one of the best. Pass load's great, but that's a dedicated professional nailer. The Milwaukee is a professional nailer in it. A buddy of mine's got one. I've played around with it. It's a great nailer. It's not a tiny thing, but if I was already in the Ryobi line, the HP stuff it's cherry. Just get the HP. Don't lose any sleep over it. That's the right pick. Buckmaster. I remember when I don't know why I stumbled over that. Anyway, Buckmaster, how you doing? You know what it was? I was thinking, bucks. Ooh, I could go for some deer meat. I remember when Harbor Freight went from town to town with their tent sales when I was 19 or 20. I bought a radio cassette deck that worked until the second I stuck a cassette in it. Back then, and Harbor Freight was not the only ones doing that. I remember grocery stores, they would have this, like, so-and-so, we partnered with so-and-so for the weekend, and they'd have these bins of, like, super cheap tools, and inevitably, like, the last bin was, like, a Rambo-esque survival knife, and there was a machete and stuff like that. I remember like going to the state fair, and you'd see them selling the tools like that at the state fair, and they were all junk. They were, and Harbor Freight back then was junk. LV says, 14-inch bandsaw. I like my Recon. Rikon. Rikon makes a good one. Now let me ask you this: what metal are the wheels made out of? All right, I want to hear back on that one. Buckmaster says they've come a long way since. Yeah, and that's the thing is people like Harbor Freight needs to stay in their lane. They're cheap tools. I'm like, what do you use now? I'm only DeWalt. I'm like DeWalt, which is Black and Decker, and they had to revamp the DeWalt name because all they made was cheap tools, and nobody would buy a professional tool from Black and Decker. The hypocrisy is strong. There's a lot of tool guys out there who just like to run their mouth and don't have a clue about what they're talking about. Not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who say stuff like, DeWalt's awesome, and anyway, doesn't matter. I mean, DeWalt is great. The high-end stuff, the XR and the FlexVolt, their brushless stuff is junk.
Carter says, you just went, there's a Ram 3500 against an Izu. Roasted!
And I've had two Isuzus in my life. I had an Isuzu, I just forgot what it's the 4x4 SUV. It was like the little boxy thing. And not the Rodeo. It was before that. It was a Trooper, the Isuzu Trooper. I love boxy vehicles. All right. Give me a BMW 2002. Give me an Isuzu Trooper, the old high. I love boxy vehicles. I admit it. I'm proud. I admit I love boxy vehicles. So I love that truck. And it was okay. But then I also had an Isuzu Impulse with the Lotus suspension. And I was so tickled when I bought that. And I got it for a song. 5-speed stick. And I grew up with my dad buying and reselling European sports cars. And this was like a budget. I mean, it drove like a budget Porsche. It was so much fun. And then I found out they made a turbo version. And I got obsessed about getting the turbo version. And then one day I pull into a parking garage in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm pulling into a parking garage and I go down, I'm like on the second level down, and I pull into the spot and the car opposite me is an Isuzu. And I'm like, ooh. And then it's got the little hood bump. I'm like, it's the turbo, which is really rare. And then I see the writing on the hood bump and it says, I think it says AWD. And I'm like, there's an all-wheel drive version? And I'm getting out of my car as this woman is coming back and it's her car. And so I have to ask her, and she laughs and she's like, yeah, she's like, I love my car. It's so awesome. It's great in the snow. It's super fast and quick, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I get people offering to buy it from me all the time. Other Isuzu people like this. And she's like, she said, I'll come back to my car. And I'm never surprised to see a note on it going, if you want to sell it, here's my number. And I'm like, so I guess I shouldn't leave you a number, huh? She's like, I've already got a stack of them. So that was a fun little car. They had a terrible clutch.
The Ryobi high-powered impact is amazing. IMO.
Yeah, it is. IMHO means in my humble opinion.
I don't know. All right.
You have your glasses on, right?
I do, but I don't know what those meanings are.
Ah, okay. Futon 02 is in the house. Evening all, sorry for being late. I was late. Everyone's got an excuse. Cheap Reviews is in the house. My gosh, everyone's showing up. Sup, Bears? Remember to check us out on Facebook at the Den of Tools. Yep. Soft Grip, Thomas Andre, Carter Burnham. Blah, blah, blah. What do you think about the Hercules compound dual bevel sliding miter saw? I think it's the best sliding miter saw, 12-inch sliding miter saw for the buck. I really do, and I think that I reviewed it years ago, and I said it was as good, if not better, than the DeWalt, and for much cheaper, and it still is. The DeWalt price, everyone talks about like, oh, Harbor Freight's gotten more expensive. Have you seen the price of the 779? I think list price on the 779 is like $500 now, and it doesn't even have the light. You're like $680 for the drop shadow light. I'm like $180 for an LED light. Dude, trust me, it is. I know tons of people have bought it. I have one person who said they bought it for their work crew, and they bought 3 of them, and they died. I don't remember who it was, and he doesn't like them. That's the only person I've ever heard from who bought one of these and didn't write me back later. Like, I've had somebody yesterday write me and say, like, you know what? I bought it on your word, and I love it. It's fabulous. If there is a better version out there for a similar price point, you think there's a better bang for the buck, let me know. You hear me on this channel. I talk about other tools and recommend things other than Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight is just the one who's constantly, going after that bang for the buck level.
Have you seen the new Capri Comfort ratchets?
I have not seen them. Capri doesn't like me, so they don't really send me stuff. But I think they got great tools. Usually, I love most of their ratchets are pretty good, and I love their bit sockets are fantastic. I'll have to take a look at that.
PPV equals pay-per-view.
Oh, pay-per-view in the fight. See that? I knew what it was, and it was in my brain. I just couldn't get out. Oh my gosh, sorry, Zach.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. But it was, and I was telling the kids, some of the older folk maybe remember, is the Mike Tyson fight that lasted 90 seconds, and it was the only fight, and people paid like $60 for that fight. People were pissed.
Like, money.
Repo by Robo, nice. Dude, I can't afford that. Those are spooky numbers.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that one.
Spooky. What's your, okay, let's hear. Linda says, Craftsman did come out with 56 volt max, 46-inch, 42 tractor, 30-inch rear engine. I think they're ashamed of them. No announcement. Must be as bad as their last electric mowers. Oh, that is, I didn't even hear about that. That's sad. Those Hercules tools, Carter says, those Hercules tools, by the way, are making all my Milwaukee tools that are brand new embarrassed. The Milwaukee is not bad, but I mean, the Hercules performance at that price with the warranty. The only thing we got to see is longevity. But I'll tell you what, people are like, well, Hercules still has to prove its longevity. Their brush tools have already proved it. So, the Stanley Black & Decker have many brands try to make mowers for DeWalt, Craftsman, Troy-Bilt, Cub. Hustler is holding them back. Yeah, there is the MBT, the factory they bought them out, and they're making stuff there. Yeah, I've not heard anything good about any of those brands. Everyone I've talked to on this channel who has the DeWalt said, I've had a few people say that they liked it, but most people felt that it was overpriced for what they got. The Craftsman, the Troy-Bilt, a lot of people tell me Troy-Bilt and Cub are not what they used to be. Hustler, I don't read that anymore. And I tried to keep a straight face for that one. And what's the other one? Oh, and then, of course, the DeWalt electric commercial burned down in Atlanta last year at the trade show. So that was a black eye for him.
Frank says, I work at a diesel shop, and they mostly use Milwaukee and sometimes use Makita. Big things are still air tools.
Yep. Go on.
Okay. Cheap Reviews says YouTube seriously needs a thumbs up / down for live comments.
That's a great idea. I've never heard anybody else say that, and I would love to see that.
Matthew says, noticed today that the Metabo HPT 10 miter saw was back up to $169 at Lowe's. Still haven't gotten to use it. Glad I bought it at $109. Thanks again for the recording, I guess. Recording, I think. Right.
You don't come out of your room. I've been home for an hour. You come out, first thing you say is, can I go for a walk? Hi, Dad. Love you. Let me give you a hug. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You did bring me a towel when I was taking a shower. You gonna wear your helmet? Where's your helmet? Is it in the box?
Probably. Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna wear my helmet.
I know, you should wear your helmet. In case you fall over. Alright, sorry, I'm teasing Elle here. She's gonna go for a walk. Go talk to her coyote friends. Boy, they were out singing the other night, weren't they?
Love you, Dad.
Love you too. Be safe.
I got self-protection.
You got your self-protection on you?
Michael says, just turned in Bear. I'm looking for at Harbor Freight parking lot sale flyer. I'm in the market for a toolbox. What is a better buy, the Yukon Mobile tool chest or the U.S. General Mechanics cart? Thanks.
Okay, hold on. So, what I said about protection. So I bought her a Benchmade pocket knife for Christmas, and my wife was like, she's like, I don't know if that was a great purchase. My wife, she goes, what if she stabs somebody? And she's like, what would you say if she actually pulls out and stabs somebody with it? I'm like, they better hope the cops get there first, because if I get there, my daughter stabs somebody. I'm not going to be asking my daughter, why did you stab him? I'm going to be asking them, why did you make my daughter stab you? That's my take on it. So anyway, back to that. So let's see. Well, first of all, Matthew. So the comment at the top of a 10-inch miter saw, I noticed that too. I was bummed to see it go back up, but that's kind of to be expected because that was a really low price on that. As far as the Harbor Freight parking lots,
Yukon
looking at the sale flyer. Oh, sorry, I'm in the market for a tool. What's a better buy? The Yukon Mobile tool chest. I'm thinking making the tool cart, like there was like a 2-drawer or 3-drawer or something. It's not bad. And then the U.S. General Mechanics cart. The U.S. General Mechanics cart is fantastic. Are you talking about the full bank or are you talking about the 5-drawer? Either way, they're great. Everything in the U.S. General is fantastic. And I can't tell though, because of your wording, if you're looking for a tool chest or a tool cart, because they're very different beasts there.
Mike McKinney says, do you think Milwaukee is the best brand for the money? Like bang for the buck?
No. Milwaukee has one specific role, being a trusted, dependable, reliable, professional grade tool at professional prices with a professional grade warranty, 5-year warranty. They go based off the serial number. At least last I checked, they were still doing that rather than like, where's your receipt kind of stuff. And you pay for that level of performance and reliability in it. I think they're great tools, but that doesn't make them the best bang for the buck. You know, Flex is doing as good a performance, if not better, with a lifetime warranty. Harbor Freight is doing as good, if not better, with the same 5-year warranty, but at a much lower price. There's and depends on the tools that are. See, here's the thing: like, very seldom does somebody use all the tools in their line of tools all the time. Usually, what I find is there's 1 to 3 tools that get used every single day in whatever it is you're doing, and then you got to basically build the set you're going to get around that, because the best bang for the buck for you could be different than me, or different than Fred, or different than Zaf or whoever. So you got to really figure out how that relates to you, because at the end of the day, you're the person who lives with it. So it's all about what you're going to use it for. If you give us more information about what you're going to use it, more context, I could probably give you a better answer.
Zeke Field says that would require YouTube actually caring about making their platform better. I think that's the point.
Who said that?
Zeke Field.
Zaffiel. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't know. Let's see here. Let me make sure. Dave the Pious says, is it just my area, or has Lowe's dropped the ball on carrying tool brands they're supposed to carry? One stack pack kit in the entire store. Some of them cleared them out after Christmas to make more room and rotate stock. So I've seen some that have plenty in stock, and I've seen some that don't have any. So it's kind of weird.
Oh.
What?
Our stream picture.
Oh. Is having issues.
Yeah, it says excellent connection. But
weird.
Maybe it's just our end.
Anyway, let me zoom through some of these here. We got to catch up. Yeah. Carter says, I'm a diehard Milwaukee guy, and I think they're good, but the warranty has kept me with them for my half and my Gen 4, both drilled and serviced for free at Ohio Power Tool. They got good warranty. There's nothing wrong with Milwaukee, other than it's an expensive tool meant for pros who are making money with those tools. And if you can justify it, then you can justify it. But for like everyday kind of person, DIY kind of stuff, even prosumer grade, it's overkill. Let me get through these, okay?
All right.
The Zap says, any theories on when 24/7 chains started to collapse? Home Depot used to be 20. I think it was I think it was trending. It was on the verge right before the pandemic, but then after the pandemic, being able to get people to work 24/7 is impossible anymore. Ashok says, wondering if you had a chance to lay your paws on those new handheld pistol grip style welders appearing these days. No, I have not. But I would love to try them. Video's back. That took long enough.
We go.
Any opinions on the Cobalt modular storage tool other than they need drawers? They're decent, but like you said, there's just not enough options. And I'm really bummed that, like, if you buy the XTR system, it comes with a box that looks like it should be part of that system, but I don't believe it locks into that system. Or I don't think other systems can lock into it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it has the locks on it, does it? To multi-stack. Anyway, it's an okay system. I'd rate it like on par with the Harbor Freight, the Menard, the Ridgid. Heading My Way says, just picked up 2 Istwing hammers, 16 ounce and 12 ounce, one for home, one for the RV. Nice. Greg says, went to Menards and seen an Oakley 4-inch OK 4-inch vise. Have you ever seen that brand? I can't even pronounce that brand. The Armored Anvil says, hey everyone, hope everyone's having a great day. Jack says, what's the difference between worm drive circ saws like the old school skill and rear handle saws recently released by the pro level brands? That's a good question. And I had just assumed that it was just placing the saw at the end. And in the last live stream, somebody made the comment that perhaps they are worm drive, but they don't want to use the term worm drive for fear of giving credence that the skill one is like the legit old school, top of the line one. I'm going to have to look into it. I don't have an answer for you on that one. Jack says, I bought my Makita 40 volt rear handle circ saw in November. It was awesome, especially after the normal 40 volt circ saw was such a disappointment. Ergonomically, okay. Evolved from Earth says, lever action, Marlin or Henry, 30-30 or 357, what do you suggest? I have a Henry in 308. I have a Winchester in 308, and I've got a Marlin in 44 mag. I hunt in 308 primarily, and I wanted a lever action. That got me in the Henry, and I really liked it. And then I saw Winchester had one, and somebody local was selling a used one, so I picked that one up. I'm waiting to get the Marlin, or Marlin. There's another lever action 308 I want to get. Anyway, the Marlin 44 is like your standard saddle gun. It's fantastic, old school, rough and ready, and everything. And I really like the idea of a lever action that I can also use with a pistol, especially when we're out in the woods and stuff. I would probably, if I lived anywhere where we didn't have aggressive grizzlies, I would probably go with the 357. Because you can shoot 38. Trying to find 44 special versus 44 mag is a lot harder. And the 44 pistols are, you get a good solid one. They're much bigger than I like. I like a 4-inch barrel on my revolvers. So I would probably choose the 357. But for us, we went with 44 mag just because we have such a grizzly overpopulation in Montana. And that's, of course, because of people like Sierra Club and people who don't live in Montana who whine and complain like, oh my gosh, they're going to hunt the little bears. Wait, lean over here. Won't anybody think about the bears? I love bears. Clearly I do.
Oh my god.
But when they're showing up in the plains because they can't compete because they're overpopulated in the mountains, and now they're going down into farmland and harassing farmers and farmers' kids and in the cities and stuff. No. If you're not in Montana, why are you telling us whether we should allow bear hunting? I don't hunt bears. I don't want to hunt a bear. But someone needs to go out and hunt some bears because we have too many of them. The Infernal Craftsman says, my birthday is December 27th. I don't want to hear any complaints about you. Yours a month later. I'm sorry. I really am. I've always felt bad for people whose birthday was right then. Matthew says, the saw did fit in the bag just barely. I can't imagine they were too worried about me walking out with it as cable secured to it. You know, 3 aisles over, they make some great cable cutters. Nice ones. Do you think U.S. General Tool Chest is the best value today? Again, best value for who? But like for me, if I were out there buying one, I would want something like the Icon Scratch and Dent. I love the Icon stuff. It's pretty and it feels nice and it's shiny and it's got the US. I love it. I do. And I'm of an age where maybe I can splurge on stuff and not feel terrible about it. But honestly, nobody needs it. Nobody. I love this. And I always get the guys like, it was funny because when U.S. General was 18 inches, the people were like, well, if it's not over 20 inches, it's not a real tool chest. Then they went to 22. Well, if it's not over 24, it's not a real tool chest. You know, pros wouldn't use it. So then the new ones come out, the Icon comes out, and then they're like, well, if it's not 30 inches, then depth, then it doesn't truly compete. There's only a couple lines that are 30 inches. Most of the stuff that Snap-on sells is not that deep. Most Matco, none of the stuff sold by the other tool trucks is that deep. Who the guys with the crinkle paint? Kennedy, the king of professional toolboxes. They're still making like 20-inch, 18-inch deep toolboxes.
You're gonna want to do the camera.
All right, you're cutting out.
No, I'm using our stream.
All right, we're just turning off the camera so he doesn't shake it and make you all nauseous. You want to slide in here? No. She's too good. Do you hear that, folks? She's too good for you. And the thing's still shaking.
If I use a headlight and I wear a helmet, can I go for a bike ride?
Yeah. Where's the helmet?
On my bike.
The new one?
No.
Why don't you use the new helmet? It's got lights on it.
Yeah, but the other one is perfectly fine. That one's new, so I'm going to save it for the video. Don't want to ruin that. Come on, bro.
She doesn't like the design on it. That's the problem. Isn't it? I love you. She's awesome. Where'd we go? Freedom Van. I got 5 Tecton ratchets, but today needed an 18-inch 3/8 drive. Any brands I should look at to compare to Tecton in price and quality? Gear Wrench is one of the best out there. I love the Gear Wrench ratchets. Icons from Harbor Freight are fantastic. Capri are good ones. And Tecton, those I would say are the top 4 tool truck alternatives. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those. Yes. Yeah. All right, hold on. Get back in here.
I'm going quick.
Quick lick bunny.
All right, here we go.
All right. There he is. All right. Evolved from Earth, I would say Winchester. So here's my thing on the 30-30. I want a 30-30 because it's such a traditional gun, but I worked really hard to pare down all the odd calibers that I have. And right now I have 9. I could tell them once I got rid of it because there's so many. So I have 9, I have 45, and then and the funny thing, actually, I take that back. The ammo I own a ton of 45. I don't currently have a 45. And I keep saying I'm going to buy a new 1911, but every time I go to buy one, I end up buying another SIG. It's weird. Although the new Canik, I am sorely tempted by the new Canik, the one that competes with the P365. Sorely tempted by trying one of those out. And then in shotgun, I've got 12 and 20. I love 16, but it's just not a thing anymore, really. And then in rifles, I've got 22, and well, I'm gonna say 44 because it's in a rifle. I don't have a pistol in 44. And then 5.56, 308, and 6.5 Creedmoor. And it's not mine. He's in 6.5 and his brother in 6.5. And they're both out there in the woods in their Sitka gear, taking Instagrams with the deer.
Like, I'm gonna eat you for dinner.
I'm teasing. They don't do that. But I tease them about their Sitka and their 6.5s. I'm the old man in the I wish I had flannel to wear. I don't wear flannel. But I'm out there in my Carhartt and my lever action 308. So very, very deer tactical. Matthew says, if someone can do a job and is currently making a living doing the job, then they are pro. Maybe not an expert, but they are pro. That's exactly the definition. And I've seen so many people who can do, like, there was one guy I'll never forget. He would come in, he did tile work, and he was a artist. He could match the cut and lay perfect tile, and he did it all with cheap hand tools like you'd buy at like 7-Eleven or something. I mean, there was nothing name brand or high end, and he did all these little tricks to cut it just perfectly and stuff. And man, he just snapped tiles with his hands and chip them off with the edge of the. He's fantastic. Didn't use a top end tile saw or anything else. Vice Grip Garage is a favorite. Vice Grip Garage is a good channel. Zero Thief says, I have some Ridgid batteries and tools, but I like the Home Depot deal. Milwaukee hammer drill plus impact driver, $400. What do you think? Wait for Ridgid offer. I'll be honest, and a lot of people will tell you, I'm not a fan of Ridgid. All right. I've done a lot of research into it, and Ridgid, because the big sell for Ridgid is the LSA program. A lot of people say, it's a lifetime warranty. It's not a warranty. It's a lifetime service agreement. And they say that, it's important that they use that word, because if you say warranty, many states, most states, give the consumer legal rights under a warranty. So that's why they call it a service agreement, not a warranty. And they bend over backwards to find reasons why you don't qualify and not service your tools. And I'll have people who tell me, you're wrong because I sent my drill in and they serviced it fine. I didn't say that they get out of it 100% of the time, but there's enough where I don't want to have to roll the dice to see if my tool is going to get serviced. And on top of that, they have a new policy where you give them the credit card, you send it in, and then they fix it and they decide whether you're getting charged or whether you're going to get it done for free. I want you to send it in and have you tell me like, okay, this is under warranty or it's not. And then I have the option to paying for it. This whole roll the dice and you're going to decide my fate for me and I don't get any part of it. No, I'm not into that. So I'm kind of anti-Ridgid. I'm not saying the tools are bad. I'm saying the way the company is handling themselves leads me to not want to support them. Wohawk says, I'm spoiled on corn-fed Iowa deer. I'll tell you what, a lot of people complain about, mule deer. They're like, oh, it tastes too much like sage. I think it's delicious, but I also like sage, so I use it on my steaks. The wife is allergic to rosemary, so I don't use rosemary, so I'll use sage and thyme instead. YouTube has me with political, cars, guns, and other Rumble. I don't really watch much else other than Rumble. You're right. I watch a lot of car stuff. I watch a lot of political stuff. I watch a lot of gun stuff. Probably all on the same channels. Anyway, it says I was the brand new Harbor Freight store in Deptford, New Jersey this weekend. It was great to see a well-stocked store. Everything was new and no dust. They're greeting us at the door like Walmart. Ooh. Do you watch Project Farm? I do if somebody emails me about one like, hey, you should watch this review of it. I will. I watched a lot of this stuff early on. And I don't have a problem with him for the most part. I do have a problem with some of the fanboys who are like, he doesn't get free tools, so he's completely non-biased. I've seen some of his stuff. People can be biased in a lot of different ways. Whether they got free tools is not a sign that they're biased. There's some people who just will hate on a specific tool for some reason. Maybe it hurt them as a child or something. And I'm making a joke here, but there's a lot of bias, and you have to learn to see bias and understand where it's coming from, what people may have, whether they're getting a direct payment or something. Consumer Reports is one, and I learned this working in the industry I worked in previously, because the company I worked for, I was doing tech work for them, and it was a PR company, and they would send stuff to Consumer Reports, but one of the companies that they worked for, they wouldn't send to Consumer Reports because something about the CEO there said something about the CEO at Consumer Reports, and he took it personally, and now they just, bag on all their products no matter what. So there's all sorts of hidden bias that people need to look out for. I'm not saying he's bad or anything, but don't sit there and say that there's no bias in the reviews. I've seen bias in his reviews. I've seen him, he's gotten better about Harbor Freight stuff, but I remember him doing a video of, the shop vacs. And it was right after they'd come out with the new Bauer shop vacs that were just blowing Ridgid out of the water, which allegedly was the best ones. And he did the whole video, says that DeWalt's the best, which I totally agree with. And then he says Harbor Freight's the second best, which I totally agree with. And then he goes, but I wouldn't buy it. Instead, I would recommend this Craftsman, which did okay, but has a better warranty. I don't. I mean, Craftsman puts a warranty on the box. Try getting that warranty. Let me know how it works out for you. It's one of the cases of it's the pre-perceived notion of something that he's yet tested that he's going to make a declaration on. Not a bad guy. I'm not saying he's terrible. Not saying you shouldn't listen to him. A lot of people do that, and you gotta understand what your own biases are too when you're doing this kind of job. All right, I've ranted on that long enough.
Did you do top of the hour, or is that not come yet?
Oh, love the oil. He says, I love Project Farms. Cool. Love the oil contest. I think the oil one is what got me watching him. That or the seafoam stuff. No, it was the stuff he was doing with the small engines, I think, is where I first started watching. The NH says, what was that? Was that you?
That's not stray dog.
Where?
In the RV park, I returned.
Is it a husky?
Yeah.
I saw that, and I thought it was with the person.
Oh,
I
you
think.
guys done?
No, we're not done. We're almost done, though. We got to wrap things up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a minute. Yes, I know. And it says, I have the PowerMate 2200 inverter. In order to have a parallel setup, do I need another identical unit, or can I use it? As far as I understand, now I'm not, as far as I understand, you don't need an identical unit, but it will be on par with whatever the lowest power. Like if you have an 1800 and a 2200, they're going to act like two 1800s. But as far as I understand, it does not matter what brand or who you can use them with. As long as it has parallel setup, it can do parallel setup. Landon says, I'd like to see the Icon pliers be as comprehensive as the Doyle line. They look good. I've not tried them. I heard back from some of you that said they were good. I'm waiting for there to be more of them. Ryan says, hey, Bear, did you know that Husky has an 84-inch toolbox with stainless steel top and is currently selling cheaper than the 72-inch at $14.68? Yes. In fact, I had it in my video when I did the walkthrough of the local store. They had all the new ones. I was not overwhelmed with it. It's not bad, but I don't think it's the same build quality as the US General. Matthew says, I still see the Rambo-esque survival knives right with the front when I walk into my local Harbor Freight store. And every time I see them, I think that's what I think of is those cheap tools you'd see at the grocery store and other shops and stuff. Would you recommend the Bauer line for a more or less prosumer use? I don't use stuff hard daily, but use it enough even if I get the replacement plan. I would say Bauer. I would say Ryobi, The skill brushless stuff is good. That's all kind of in that entry level DIY weekend warrior level. not entry, DIY weekend warrior. The 73 Carmagia, talk about a budget Porsche. That's another one. Happy Sunday. Great posts from the race. 3 times this week I've seen posts for wire twisting pliers from Harbor Freight. Have you ever seen them? I've not seen them, which is, and I don't know. I guess I don't do a lot of stuff with wire twisting kind of stuff. Fence pliers I've looked at, but not from Harbor Freight. But no, I'm sorry, Jeff. I don't have an answer for you. I've seen the video on them. They look pretty cool. They clamp down the plier and you pull the little plunger and it spins it and makes a perfect twist in the wire. The Frank says, "Hey, Tool fans, hit the like button. The Bear Family Picnic Best. Thank you." Mike says, "I'm thinking about getting the Herc Ultra Torque Impact. Will my 5 amp hour battery good enough?" Oh yeah. It'll be just fine. You don't need more than the 5 amp hour battery. Sorry, we got a cat. We've run over, and I got to give the dog food, so we got to wrap this up. This one says, "I love your videos. I'm a Ridgid and Husky tool person. Your AutoZone video was amazing. Question: can you really go wrong if a tool manufacturer offers a lifetime warranty?" Well, if you saw my rant about Ridgid, yeah, you can. If there's a lot, do the research and look into it. A lot of people have tried to use the Ridgid warranty and been burned by it. So, because it's not a warranty. Is that a chalkboard behind you? No, it's the window in the RV. Protect your kids. It's father's number one priority. That's what we try to do. Keep them safe. Let them until they can get on their own. Mike says, "I've had my Herc 1/4-inch impact and 1/2-inch hammer drill and original batteries for 6 years now, and they still work as good as the day I bought them. I'm sure the brushless set would be just as good." That's what I'm saying. Linda says, "I think the quality of Hyper-Tough has improved. Maybe Walmart is going to take a run at Pittsburgh Pro." They have been stepping up, haven't they? I've been noticing that in not just the hand tools, but the power tools as well. BD Slim says, "How are the Pittsburgh line of tools, the pliers? Didn't see a set for Doyle brand. They are all single items." They are single items. You can't buy them as a set. The Pittsburgh stuff is okay for basic use. I'm not a fan of it. I've tried them. I didn't care for them. There's a lot of the Pittsburgh stuff I do like. That's not one of them. Let's see here. No, I have not reviewed the Bauer crown stapler, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. Maybe not until this summer when we get back to Montana. Armin Brown says, "I buy a Pittsburgh 103-piece toolkit with case for my truck, $20 to $30. Stores are closed now." I know a lot of people who love that kit. Let's see. Ashok says, "Gotta go. Bye for now. Take care. Shine on." Thank you. Michael says, "In late. So sorry if you cover this as their review." Oh, we just said that one. Jeff Teeter. Hey, how's it doing, Jeff? Just bought the Bauer spindle sander at Harbor Freight for $189. Those things are fantastic. They're the same as the Win or the Grizzly. There's a couple other people who sell them. It's very similar. I think it's from the same manufacturer as the Ridgid version. I love it. I have 2 of the Win. I have the Bauer one. They're interchangeable. I just get whatever one's on sale. So, and at $189, that's a pretty good price. Evolve from Earth says, "I'll be moving to Boise, Idaho in the next few years. 357 it is. Maybe a smooth Henry." Zap says, "Live trap grizzlies and release in New York and San Francisco." I am all for that. If they want to live with them, if they want to save them, they can live with them. The Bias Sig 1911. Yeah. The Cheap Review says, "Let's do a PSA on greasing new ratchets. Tired of hearing newbies." Yes, if you buy a new ratchet, open it up, give it some love, just a little bit. It's a world of difference in smoothness once you add a little bit of grease in there. Not oil. Some of them can take oil, usually grease. Jeff says, "My dad gave me a 410 when I was 12. I've been looking for a reason to buy a 410. Futon says, "I have a Walther, Sig, and Canic. I love them all. the new Canic, both the Rival S and the Met MC9. My only issue with Walther is I think the mag release is weird. That kind of pivot thing down where the press release should be. Zap says, I was a union caulker and was told to repair a big brick sculpture by a foreman. I couldn't tell you how many VPs or CEOs leaving that building asked me about masonry work. Let's see here. Do you think Ryobi HP has jumped Ridgid in the middle level? I think they're as good as Ridgid, and I think that they're more likely to stand behind their warranty. What's your opinion on the Ryobi 13-inch weed trimmer, 280 blower combo? For one, they're decent. They're good. I don't think they're anything to write home about, but they're decent. The Project Farm gets a little repetitive watching a lot. I don't know. I like his cadence, the way he talks. It's kind of soothing. Bias. I hate Ryobi because it's green and I don't like green. You know what's funny is I get so many people who are like, he's like, I can't stand Ryobi green. I'm like, I'm not really worried about the color of my tools, but some people are. Non-biased Ryobi is a good tool, and they get most of the tough jobs done easy. They may not be top-notch, but they're built well. See, that's a proper way to look at something. Everything becomes green if you're slaying enough foliage. I'm really sick of the candy corn colored Ridgid these days. I'm really glad that Ridgid got away from the over-the-top, extreme kind of form factor they were doing there for a while. See Tommy Boy for the story of the warranty fairy. I almost went into that. I came so close. Thanks for making that comment. But yeah, it's like, I can put a warranty sticker on anything. There's a lot of stuff out there on Amazon that has a warranty on. 5-year warranty. How do you reach the company? How do you get it? Send it in on your dime and we'll get it back to you at some point if we don't fix it, resell it to somebody else. Yeah. And if you go back and you look at my channel when I first started, I had Ridgid tools. I bought myself. I was in the Ridgid line. I bought into it all along. It was my research that led me to realize what's really going on with Ridgid and why you don't see me do reviews of them on the channel. I will say this, they're good tools. I don't have any problem with the tools. It's them selling that LSA and not standing behind it 110%. Which is weird because they're TTI, right? Milwaukee does. Milwaukee's fantastic. Ryobi does a good job. What's the deal with Ridgid? Speedy's Drain Clean says, hey, Den Tools, appreciate your insight on tools, but more importantly than the video you did so long ago about believing in yourself and how everyone would tell you that you can't do that. Thank you. That is a big one I keep pushing for you. I was talking to a young gentleman today who was trying to figure out where he was going in life. He had this idea stuff, and I'm like, don't invest in you, man. You do it. And become the boss. Let's see. It's anti-theft lime green. And Maze Man says, I know there's a lot of Kimber hate out there, but my Pro CDP is my favorite 1911. Very accurate. The last 1911 I had was a Kimber, and I sold that because Kimber's having issues. You can get a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking your head. Yep. But wouldn't you rather take the butcher's word for it? Matthew says, hey, Matthew says, sound another tool channel, the channel's live video. Ryobi green gets picked up as background for chroma key replacement with streaming software. They couldn't figure out why it looked blue on their live stream. That's funny. That's funny. And that's happened with this hat. You'll see in some of the videos. I've had this green on this hat get chroma keyed out. And because I forgot that it was on. In fact, it's not doing it right now. And Brad says, any good mechanics tool ratchet set that's decent on sale? Right now? Can't think of one. Anyway, that's it. We got to go. I got to go get dog food, and the little girl apparently wants to talk to me about something. So anyway, that's all we got for you today. Hey, be sure also to check out the channels. I think that our mods posted it. The mods do a great job helping everyone out and making, they smash trolls. They remind me when I get off in the brambles. They help me remember stuff. So go out and check them out because, as I said, I like to spread the love, I like to support other tool channels, and you should too. So help support the community. Zaf Rock Island, I've had Rock Island for years, and I love the Rock Island stuff for the money. Get another bang for the buck there. And the new stuff is fantastic, especially when they got rid of that giant logo they had plastered down the side. I hated that. But the also thanks to everyone who supported us with the live with the super chat today. Thank you so much. You are all fantastic, and a huge shout out thank you to all the members. That's everyone with the bear behind their name. If you're interested in channel membership, there's a link down below. Anyway, I got to run. Sorry to cut it off like this, but you all take care. God bless, and as always, shine on.